Hello, Justin.
Hello.
Firstly, congrats on tonight's launch of the S26.
Thank you very much.
And naturally, we have a few questions.
Sure.
Let's start with how Samsung SA expects the S26 to land.
So from an S26 perspective, we actually have quite high ambitions for the product there. What we've been seeing in the South African market is that the ultra premium segment has actually been doing incredibly well, despite what might be the expectation from economic actors and the like. Customers particularly are seeing value from the AI integration perspective. They're seeing how that can change my life, how it can work within a broader ecosystem. I think that's a very important point, is that these devices don't just function in and of themselves. They integrate with Samsung home appliances, television sets and the like, our tablets, our wearable devices and so forth. So yeah, all things being said, we do expect year-on-year growth from the product.
Following on from that, I had a few questions about the S25, last year's device, and how that performed in terms of sales, and how you expect the S26 to perform relative to that.
So S25 was actually remarkably successful through last year. Again, going back to that notion that the premium segment of the market has been growing for us. S25, if I look at that, what surprised us there was that the Ultra variant, which is the most expensive, that is the one that has really been the outlier, the performer across the base. And I think, again, that goes back to customers understand the sort of content creation capability of the device, on-device editing capability, how generative AI, now agentic AI, will play a role in their lives. And I think, again, what we're also seeing is that the pairing of devices with our ecosystem, that attachment rate is continuing to grow exponentially.
You called tonight's launch the start of the agentic AI era. Where do you envision this trend going? If it were up to you, Justin Hume, what do you envision the S30 to offer in terms of agentic AI?
So I think the very first thing, and I've always said this, is that it's when technology becomes invisible that it becomes meaningful. It moves from being a feature to moving onto being the infrastructure environment. So that resonates well. And I think as it operates seamlessly between different applications, between the agents effectively there, and moves from this idea of where I give a phone an input and it gives me an output, to rather focusing on what is the goal, the outcome that I'm trying to achieve. So with that being said, where do I see this going to there? That integration of ecosystem is fundamental. Right now, and I've shared with you before, that we have 400 million devices globally on the Samsung SmartThings AI interface. That'll grow to 800 million this year. And the power of that, as we start to see how that works with our Vision AI on TV, our bespoke AI on home appliances, and again, on the mobile device, means that that connected world where what I want, I'm no longer bound by time and space, effectively, to sound very sci-fi there. But truly that integration wherever I am, whatever devices around me, becomes reality. We've seen two other big technologies come into play, one being XR as that moves forward, and how that is displayed through wearable technology, and then how that interfaces with this device. That is going to be really interesting as we go into the next few years.
How confident are you that Samsung has done enough with the S26 to kind of fend off the rising competition that are coming for Samsung's market share in the local market?
Well, firstly, I welcome the competition, and I think what I always find, people think it's a bad thing, but as you get that competition, it almost gives credence. It gives affirmation to the market that you're creating. So it's not a bad thing, it's a good thing. Some of our competitors are putting out some phenomenal product. The big thing that I would invite customers to look at, and why I'm really excited about this, is that we don't require cloud processing of the data. A vast percentage can be done on this device because of the power that is in here, because of the camera capabilities and the software suite that we've done. So a lot of our competitors have an OS layer. We keep talking about an AI OS. Integrate that with personal data engine, security, and the like. We give you the control. We give you the access to determine what information you keep, what information goes to a cloud, what information you share in that regard. So as I think what you saw from tonight, privacy, security is almost more important in our world than the next new shiny thing. It's how do we deliver it to you and how do we make sure that you have safety with that.
I think the new privacy screen, the built-in privacy screen feature, I mean, is a good example of that.
Yeah, I fly a lot, and I always have people looking at what's on my phone.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you get a message from the bank and your salary notifications.
Absolutely. Yeah. You don't want people to see that.
I really don't want people to see that.
Can you share with us one of your favorite features of the new device and how you use it in your day-to-day?
So privacy screen.
Privacy screen. Yeah, let's go back to that.
I really like that, and I think this is what people will find exciting. You know, we've seen the stickers that we can apply of our screen. Everything I do looks dull, grey, darkened. Here, literally, I can be looking at my screen here now. You from the side there will not see a thing.
I can't see anything.
Okay, well that's because it's off right now, but I can do it that way. But I can also hide those notifications, like when my bank notification comes through, you can't see it. Only I can see it in that regard. That is critical for me. I deal with a lot of sensitive information. IP-related issues in our world is a massive thing, and I need to control it. So that's the one part of it there. The second part that I really enjoy playing with is photography and editing things in and creating things that shouldn't be there. I find that a challenge. I find it intriguing. So that's a little bit of fun in that regard. What's amazing, and I see this, is you'll be on WhatsApp groups with your friends, right? And you can see who's got the latest Samsung, because you'll take, and like of a mate of mine, it'll be like, hey, turn him into Superman, but sitting on the toilet, I don't know. And it's there, and the best that others can do is come back with like a slightly enhanced emoji. I find that challenge, and I thrive on the challenge. My last comment is, I'm busy studying at the moment, and the ability to, at any point of the day, and I have Gemini, Perplexity now as well, integrated there, as sounding boards. And I think that's pivotal for me, is that I'm not an expert on everything. My son thinks he is, but I know I'm not. And I can very quickly go from no knowledge to a working knowledge of something with a voice prompt. And it's there. And I can validate it between the different AI environments. And that has been game-changing for me in my life. Yeah.
Justin's going to dominate the group chats with his stickers.
I will indeed. Command and conquer, pinky and the brain, dominate the world of it.
Thanks for your time.
Appreciate it.